Don't let nobody steal your joy, okay? Period. Salam Beauties, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jamila. If you're new here, I create modest fashion, beauty, and lifestyle content here on my channel, as well as Instagram and TikTok, so be sure to follow me over there as well. Today, we're talking about 20 things I've learned in my 20s. Y'all, I am 30. I am 30, about to be 31 in February, and I've just been doing a little reflecting. So this video is going to be a little girl chat. We're going to get a little personal and just talk about these lessons that I've learned. So if you're in your 20s or about to be in your 20s, I hope this video is helpful for you. I hope it gives you a little insight and also inspiration. But anyways, if you like videos like this, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and let's get right into it. So, number one thing that I learned is that health is wealth, and just having a good mind, body, spirit, everything good and in alignment is everything. I'm Muslim, so when I was 21 is when I started wearing my hijab and just really tapping into that relationship that I have with Allah, with God, and making sure that I'm good in that realm, building that relationship, getting to know him more, understanding myself more, and making that my priority. Also, going to the gym, okay? It don't gotta be going to the gym, okay? Having fitness be a part of your life is so essential in your 20s because it lays a foundation for how you'll be later on in life. As you get old, all the bones start cracking. Everything starts to crack, everything starts to shift. So just having that good foundation of working out, whether that's walking, whether that's finding an activity that you really love, like swimming, anything, walking, just having that physical movement at least 30 minutes out of your day really helps you mentally. And I've found that doing that and having a relationship with God has helped me. I know a lot of people also do therapy. I've done therapy as well in the past, and I feel like that also really helped me. Being able to have someone to talk to in depth about the things that I'm going through is just very important. So I would say those big three is key to making sure that your health is good. Okay? Mentally, spiritually, physically is so important and something that you should definitely focus on in your 20s. The second lesson is friendships evolving. So, I know when we're younger, we're in high school and stuff like that, it's so easy to make friends because we usually make friends out of proximity and going to the same school, being in the same neighborhood as people. But in your 20s is where you get to cultivate relationships that last a lifetime. And that takes true effort to keep those relationships and making sure that they work. I've had so many different relationships in my past, friends that could not come with me into my 20s, and being okay with letting certain people go, especially when they don't align with where you want to go in life, they don't align with your morals, your values, etc. It can be a really hard thing to have friendships that you thought were going to be lifelong friendships that just didn't work out. And I think just being okay with that, knowing that, okay, like this relationship served me for that time period. Um, and you just can't come into the season of my life. And I think that's okay. I feel like I've had a few bad friendship breakups, and not bad in the sense of like fighting or anything like that, but just like realizing that you don't align with this person anymore and basically moving on with life and meeting other people that do align. And I think in our 20s we feel so scared to sometimes meet new people and start over in that sense. But I feel like that's really important to have a good people around you, people that support you, people that have good intentions about you and don't want to hurt you. And that can be kind of difficult to navigate, but it's so essential to your growth to be around people that are like-minded and people that show up for you. And in your 20s is when a lot of that starts to become clear. I think also what we don't realize is that quality over quantity is so important when it comes to friendships. I know when I was younger, I had a lots of friends, a lot of people that I just considered my friend. And at the end of the day, everybody's not your friend, okay? Some people are acquaintances, some people are just mutuals, and that's okay. Your real friends are people that show up for you. Your real friends are people that support you and are there for you. And yeah, quality over quantity every time. Lesson number 3 is that you're not gonna have it all figured out. Okay, I'm 30. I don't even have it all figured out. And in our 20s is when you're figuring it out and you're figuring it out and you're figuring it out. And I feel like that's a lesson that's just gonna be continuous. Like we're all just figuring it out. This for me is just about really having grace and understanding that you are ever changing, your interests are changing, you're growing up, you're learning new things. So just having grace with yourself and understanding that you're not going to have everything figured out, and that is okay. Like for me, I know myself, like I'll be like, oh, I need to get this done, I need to have this together, whether it's about work, whether it's about content creation and other hobbies that I have, and just feeling like, is this it? Like, am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to be doing something else? And I think something that keeps me grounded and knowing that I'm doing the right thing is just always bringing it back to what is the purpose, right? Like sometimes we're so focused on goals, and getting to the next thing and the next thing, but in your 20s, you really realize that this life is a journey and it's an ever changing journey. And you kind of have to just go with the flow of things and not be so rigid. I feel like in my 20s, I had points where I was so rigid, thinking like it should be this way and no other way. And boy, was I mistaken. Like things will change and you're just gonna have to shift with the ever-changing times of things. And I feel like in your 20s is your time to figure that out. You have support from friends or sometimes family, etc. Wherever that support comes from, I think it's really important to lean in on that support during this time and just understanding that it's okay not to have everything all figured out. This is the time that you get to figure it out. Shoot, even if you're leaving your 20s and you still don't have it figured out, that's okay too. We're all just trying to figure it out. We're all just trying to do our best. And I think it's important to give yourself some grace with that. Lesson number 4 is that comparison is a theft of joy. Okay, and I know that's very cliche to say, and everyone always says it, but it's so true. You have 20-year-olds that are doing their damn thing, okay? And they're making lots of money or they're doing these things, and you see yourself and you're just wondering, like, when is it gonna be my turn? When is it gonna be my turn? And honestly, having tunnel vision on what it is that you're trying to do and not worried about anybody else and what they got going on is like the biggest lesson that y'all probably gonna get out of all these lessons. Like, I've learned to just focus on myself and what I have going on. Everyone is doing their best, everyone is figuring it out, and sometimes we don't know what it took for someone to be all the way up here where we want to be. Just knowing that God has a plan for your specific journey and not comparing that to someone else. Like, it's so easy to get on social media or look at somebody else in your life and be like, oh, why do they have that job but I don't? Or just thinking like you should be far further ahead than you're supposed to. And the thing is, with life, everything takes time. You just never know when it's going to be your time, but staying the course and not giving up on yourself is very, very essential to just moving forward, being in your own space, being in your own joy, and not allowing other people to take that from you. And like, we can't be focused on what Tom, Dick, and Harry got going on over there, because over here it's happening. Okay, so just trusting in yourself, trusting in God's plan for you, and understanding that things take time. Amazing things take time, and that doesn't always happen overnight. And just because it's happening for other people, it does not mean that it won't happen for you. So don't let nobody steal your joy, okay? Period. Lesson number 5 is rest is productive. Okay, and this is coming from an eldest daughter of immigrants from Jamaica and Nigeria that literally always has her head on a swivel, ready to do the next thing, ready to do whatever to get what I need to get done. Okay, rest is literally productive. Like, you need to rest. It's okay to rest. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to say no. Okay, and sometimes no is the best form of self-care. Okay, so your rest is productive. You don't need to earn your rest. This is something that I've been seeing online a lot. It's just that you don't need to earn your rest. Like, you deserve rest, period. Like, we are not meant to always be working. We're not meant to always be thinking of the next thing. You deserve to rest and be in the now. And that's something, Lord, that's something I'm still learning. Okay, like, rest is very essential to sometimes getting to the next level, right? So sometimes in our quiet moments is where we learn to be, and it allows us to reflect. It allows us to have our minds kind of open to the next thing, the next idea, even. So yeah, rest is essential, and no is the best form of self-care. And no means no. No, period. Not no because I have to, just no. I know everyone's always talking about um, your 20s is when you're supposed to be doing this and la 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 and doing the most. And they kind of right, it is. But rest is also essential to getting to the next level. Yeah. Lesson number 6 is that change is inevitable. If you watched my last video, I was talking a little bit about how change for me can be very hard, but as soon as I'm able to adapt, I be ready. Okay, I be ready. I be like, okay, this is the change that needs to happen. Let's do it. And then as soon as I'm over that hump, I'm good. So I feel like change is inevitable, and it's okay to change. It's okay to say, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do this instead. Okay. And sometimes your 20s are the best time to take that risk, the best time to decide to pivot, the best time to say, I don't want to be this person anymore, or I don't want to be at this job anymore. I want to change. Let's change it. Let's be better. Let's do better. And I realized that in my 20s, I made a lot of changes. Just physically, like, I started wearing my hijab when I was 21. I got married. A lot of things changed for me. I decided to move out of New York into the DMV. So moving from your home state to a whole new place, learning your spouse, being with someone new, becoming a mother, like, so many life changes happened for me in my 20s, and I realized that embracing them and not like, being afraid of that change really shaped me into the person that I am today. And I'm just so grateful for that. And not letting it be something that like paralyzed me. Because sometimes people don't like change. People don't like doing things out of their comfort zone. But sometimes that is where the growth happens. And that brings me into our next lesson. Growth literally comes from discomfort. Okay? You cannot grow unless you are uncomfortable. And for example, I learned this, I would say, when I first started on my social media journey and just wanted to show up and share all of the things. I was sharing modest fashion, I was sharing lifestyle content, I was sharing beauty, and just to show up on the camera and be able to be myself, to talk in front of the camera, to show things in front of the camera. I remember at that time, it was not many women that looked like me doing this type of thing. And just being able to gain that confidence and to step out of my comfort zone to do something different. Like, I'm so proud of myself for that. Like, I saw women that I looked up to doing things like that, and I'm just like, I could do that too. Why not? So sometimes you definitely have to get discomfort to get uncomfortable, to to be comfortable. So yeah, this is where growth happens, getting a little uncomfortable to finally get to that person that you're trying to be, to gain that confidence in whatever it is that you're doing. So this next one is that your failures shape who you are. Okay, there's so many mistakes that you're going to make in your 20s. Okay, there's so many mistakes that I've made in my 20s. There's so many relationships that ended terribly. There's so many friendships I wish I could have like leaned more into and talked through. Failures are going to happen, whether it's risks that you take when it comes to starting over, or mistakes that you make in relationships, friendships. Like, you're going to fail. And I think as soon as you embrace that failure and you keep moving forward is how you continue to grow. It's not truly a failure if you don't give up, right? But that you learn from those mistakes that you make. You make amends where you need to, and life literally goes on. Like, I remember times like I would literally dwell in things for so long, like dwell in them and feel like life is completely over, and it's not. And you grow to realize that after dwelling in those things for so long that it was not even needed. So failure is inevitable. Failure is something that is a part of life, and it's not the end of the world, girl. You're gonna be all right. Oh, I love this next one because it is loving your own company. Okay, this is something that is just innate to me. Like, I've always been a person that loves my own company, and maybe that's because I'm kind of like an introvert. I don't feel like I'm an introvert. I feel like I'm an introvert at first, but then once you get to know me, you realize that I'm not. Just being able to be with yourself, to be in silence, to love yourself, to do things on your own. Like, I used to take solo trips in my 20s, like in my younger 20s. I took solo trips. I went on solo dates by myself, whether it was to a restaurant, to the movies. Just spending time with yourself, getting to know yourself. It's so important to just be in your own space and be comfortable with doing that. Because when you add people to your space, you're adding people that will add to your space, that will bring more energy to your space, and that and energy that you can share back, versus people that are just trying to take and take, or always being around so many people that you don't even know what you like, you don't even know who you are as a person. So I would say loving your own company, getting to know who you are, what do you like, what do you dislike, period. Because I love my own company. I will always love my own company and desire my own company. That's just how I I see it. But yeah, like I really enjoy being by myself. I feel like at times it's a little crazy the way like I can go without talking to people. But that's how I regain my energy. So, yeah. The next lesson is just that communication is key, okay? I feel like in my 20s is when I really learned to not care about what other people think of me. Um, and communicating things that I just simply will not tolerate. And I feel like I learned this lesson in like my mid 20s. I would say around 24, 25 is when I realized, they say that's when the brain is fully developed and stuff. I feel like one day I just woke up and I was like, yeah, this is me. The next lesson is just that communication is key, okay? I feel like in my 20s is when I really learned to not care about what other people think of me. And communicating things that I just simply will not tolerate. And I feel like I learned this lesson in like my mid 20s. I would say around 24, 25 is when I realized, they say that's when the brain is fully developed and stuff. I feel like one day I just woke up and I was like, yeah, this is me. And if you don't like it, oh well. Like, simple as that. Like, communication is key, whether that's in relationships, friendships, at the workplace, helping people understand how you are as a person, communicating things that you do not like, communicating things that you do like, and hoping people respect that. Okay, so the next one is experiences over things. And this goes back to like when I said I used to solo travel, I used to solo date and stuff like that. Like, really investing in having experiences versus materialistic things. And I think this is a big one because I feel like traveling really opens up your mind and perspective to different things. Like, you learn so much about other people's culture, you learn so much about different spaces and how other people live. Like, being in the US, we're only seeing one way of life. Okay, people are living amazing lives elsewhere, and I think it's so important to travel. It's so important to have a passport. It's so important to see and be around other things that are not places and spaces that you're used to being in. Travel really allows you to experience life in a different lens, and yeah, prioritize that in your 20s over buying the best looking bag or trying to impress the next person. Invest in yourself by traveling. This next one is about family and not taking family for granted. I know I'm just going to preface this with I know many people's family dynamics are different. Some people don't have parents, some people aren't speaking to their parents, some people's parents have passed away, etc., etc. Many people have estranged relationships with their parents or family, etc. Just from experience, I would say that there's so many things that happen within the family dynamic, especially I will say for like with your parents. Let's start there. Where things happen when you're a child, or things happen and you're sometimes you're young and you can't fully understand it. And I feel like when you grow older and you experience certain things, you're just able to understand why that person reacted in the way that they did, etc. And I'm not talking about like in abusive situations, etc. Like, things that are just not meant to be tolerated are just not meant to be tolerated with. But for example, I would say like for me, growing up, my parents got divorced. And at the time, I'm young. I was like 12, 13. Sometimes you don't really understand why certain things are happening. And as you grow older, you get to understand the perspective from both parents. You get to understand the perspective of that time period, even, and all the things that were happening. You grow and learn to forgive. You grow and you know why your parents sometimes used to do certain things that they did. But the whole point is to not to take the people around you for granted, whether that's family, whether that's friends. Just making sure that you let them know that you love them, that you appreciate them, that you're thinking of them. And I think that's very important because as we age, we know the inevitable. We know, like, okay, we all do not have the time that we think we have on this earth. So just not taking anyone for granted and always showing up for people, letting them know that you care, letting them know that you love them. And yeah, leaning more into that is so important. Don't take your family for granted. Okay, this next one goes into a little bit about what I talked about with confidence, and it's that self-love is a journey. So this goes for like your physical, loving your body, loving your mind, loving who you are, and just understanding that it takes time to get to that place. I remember times just like either hating my body or feeling like I'm not good enough to be in spaces, and literally having to build my confidence by doing the things that I say that I'm going to do for myself, putting myself out there. So, for example, I'll use social media again. Putting myself out there when it comes to networking, meeting new people, or just putting myself in spaces that I've never been in has really helped me to grow my confidence. Talking more, expressing my feelings and my thoughts more have helped me to build my confidence. And I would say I'm a very confident person. I don't let other people dim my light or allow other people to try to tell me who I am when I know who I am. And the people that love me know who I am. Yeah. So self-love is a journey. You might not feel like all of the things right now. You may not feel like you're doing enough. You may not feel as confident. You may not like certain things about yourself. It's ever changing. We're always going to be on a self-love journey. We're always going to be bringing ourselves back to self. For example, just like being a mom now and experiencing postpartum depression and having to navigate what that looks like and navigating it to where like understanding like, okay, this is what it is. I'm experiencing postpartum depression. How can I get myself out of this? How can I do more things that I love? How can I have more time to myself and also take care of my baby? So we're always getting back to self. We're always figuring out how can I love on myself so that I can pour myself into others, so I can give energy back to others. And I think just as a mom, as a wife, there's so many titles that I have and so many people that are looking to me for support and just learning how to show up for everyone, but also remembering to show up for myself. So, y'all, the journey is long, but you will get there by taking small steps now in your 20s to build that foundation for the future. This next one is called The Power of Yet. And sometimes, kind of piggybacking off of what I already shared, is just that there's going to be challenges. How do I have a growth mindset? How do I keep moving forward when all of these different things keep happening? For me, I've always been kind of like, I'm a super calm person, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot to get me out of character. But when I am out of character, I feel like it can sometimes be really bad. Like, like really bad. I feel like only a handful of people have seen me really angry, etc. Like, that's just not a place I like to be in. And it has taken me a while to get through that. It has taken me a while to just like pump the brakes, relax, rethink this, sit with this thought so that you don't blow up in someone else's face. So we all have challenges, we all have things that we're trying to work on. So just having a growth mindset and just understanding like, okay, I'm not there yet, but I can get there. This next one is about investing in your skills, whether that's a hobby that you have. Like for me, social media, like I remember first starting out, I was just using my phone. My cousin would take pictures of me. I didn't have no camera, none of that stuff, right? Literally, I invested in learning how to edit. My husband literally would teach me how to edit, etc. So just investing in your skills and learning something new to just progress and move yourself forward is very key in your 20s. I feel like so many people try to do things like a fast way, and there's no fast way to get anywhere, okay? There's literally not a fast way to get anywhere. It takes time. Anything that's worth having takes time. And just investing in yourself and making sure that you have all the skills that you need and that you're growing is essential. Okay, we getting to the 20, but this next one is forgiveness is for you, not for them. Y'all. I am still learning this one, okay? But I'm doing better because I feel like in the past I've let feelings that I have like harbor for so long, forgetting that forgiveness is for me and not for them. This has to do with relationships, friendships, etc. Sometimes there will be people that do things to you intentionally, not intentional, and you have to let it go. And sometimes that letting it go can be so hard, especially when you feel like you've been hurt so much to the core. But I'm realizing that forgiveness is key to a clear mental health space. I'm always trying to be the bigger person. Like, I don't allow too many people to get me out of character. Like, I just don't. Like, I just cannot. you just not gonna get it out of me. Like I said before, like I used to be, I feel like I used to be much more of a hothead, but I've gotten so much better. um but yeah, forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. Especially for that clear mental health space. So just remembering to forgive. No one's saying that you have to forget, because I know I don't forget nothing that be happening to me. I always remember. But just forgiving and moving on, whether it is distancing yourself from that person, distancing yourself from the situation, and just moving on. Sometimes people and situations are just not meant to be in your life, and you have to be okay with forgiving that so that you can move on with you. This next one is gratitude changes everything. Whew, y'all. It's so important to share and express gratitude to God, for yourself, for others. Like, the more you talk about how thankful and grateful you are for things, the more peace it brings into your life. Not too long ago, I got a journal that's called Uplift. It actually was given to me by Liana Deeb. I think that's how you say her last name. But she's a lit influencer on it's just everywhere. She's an amazing person. She does a lot of fitness content, and she just made a gratitude journal, and I love it. I write in it almost every day. I try not to be too hard on myself if I forget, but just writing down the things that you're grateful for, waking up, um, praying, whatever it is that you do, just taking that time out to express gratitude so that you're not in a negative headspace. Okay, you'll really learn to let things go. You'll really learn to have an open heart and just not allow things to get to you. Gratitude, okay? Expressing that gratitude. Time is your most valuable resource, and it's taken me some time to learn this because there's a lot of time that I feel like I've wasted in my 20s, especially early on, being around people that didn't care about me, doing things that I was not supposed to be doing. But they're all learning lessons. So, again, not to beat yourself up, have grace with yourself, but understand that time is valuable. Being intentional with your time is so important. We have so many things distracting us nowadays, from social media to everything going on in the world. And prioritizing your time will have you really realizing like you have a lot of time to do the things that you say that you want to do. All the things that you say you're going to do, you got the time to do them. If you prioritize that time, you'll see that you had that time. So basically, just being intentional about your time, prioritizing that time. This is a lesson that I feel like I'm learning so much more now because I am a mother. Um, I used to be someone that was always late to everything. And sometimes I still be late, y'all. But when you have a child, your schedule be like me with my child, I'm like, you gotta eat, you gotta sleep, you gotta take a nap. Like, kids thrive on routine, and so do we as human beings. Like, routine is very important. Having a schedule is very important. So being able to stick to that and just really being intentional about your time. We all gonna slip up sometimes, but just bringing it on back when we have to. And that takes me to our last one, which is you're always evolving. Okay. And I feel like I started off like this, like, we are ever changing, things are ever changing, we are always evolving and becoming the next best version of ourselves. And I feel like as long as you're breathing, as long as you're alive, as long as God, Allah, has given you another chance, another day, you have a chance to change. You have a chance to evolve and do better. The end of my 20s was last year. I had a baby and everything, and I'm evolving as a mother. I'm evolving as a wife. I'm evolving as a friend. I'm evolving as a daughter. I'm evolving as a sister. I'm evolving. I'm ever changing. I'm doing the best that I can. And I just pray that you go into your 20s and that you enjoy your 20s, and that your 30s is something to look forward to, because I heard the girlies are having fun in their 30s too. So for my girlies about to turn 30 or in their 30s that just turned 30, we're ever evolving and we're ever changing, and this next decade is going to be amazing as well, God willing. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know if you relate to any of these lessons that I've shared. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.